Welcome to Wellness Shots with Jewel. I'm Jewel, the host of this show, and today I am excited to introduce our latest celebrity in a weight loss, Anastasia Mac. Welcome, Anastasia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, so I asked some people what they would like to hear. And of course, everyone wants to hear about your journey. So let's start with that. How did you become, you lost so much. So if you can share what got you on this journey and how it all began.
Sure. So, as long as I can remember myself from even early childhood, I was one of those chubby kids. I wasn't extremely overweight, but I was chubby. And as my life went on, I got chubbier and chubbier. And then I went through the yo yo dieting. I lost some weight, I gained some weight, then I would lose some more and gain even more. And I reached a point in sometime in the middle of 2019 where I was extremely overweight and I was obese. And at that point, I gave up. I gave up hope. I thought that this is it. I will always be overweight. I will be sick. I will not be able to have fun with my children and enjoy life to the fullest because I have this extra weight on me. And this is it. And then somehow miraculously, even though I followed your journey for many years, I have made the decision that I will try this. I will try the program or going plant based, and I will see where it will lead me. I will just try it on for a couple weeks and see where it takes me. So that was my journey from being obese. I weighted over 200 pounds, actually 210 pounds, and I went on this journey. I became plant-based. I became sofas free. I came from standard American diet. And that was my journey. In a short 7 months or so, I have lost 70 pounds.
7 months, 70 pounds. Wow. And you've been with us on this program for almost a year now?
Not even. I
Not
started in September, beginning of September, and now we are beginning of June.
So the challenge that we had in September, just like all our challenges, they like 5 weeks. So in that first challenge, in those 5 weeks, what was your result?
I don't remember exactly. I wasn't following it very closely, the numbers, but I remember that within 3 months with the program, I have lost 35 pounds. And in my mind, that was the halfway point because I always had a goal of 70-pound weight loss, but I honestly thought, I was always doubting it, that it's not achievable. And I remember I started first week of September, but middle of November, I was celebrating my 35-pound loss.
Incredible, incredible. And we know each other for quite some time. And even before I discovered the whole food plant-based lifestyle, I remember us being together on a different diets. And we got,
Yes.
so how many diets did you try before?
I have tried, I think, everything that was in the book. I remember myself in high school trying those Slim Fast shakes. I've tried measuring programs. I've been on them multiple times, only to always come back to them and then not being able to keep the weight. I tried all kinds of high protein diets, low protein, fasting, but not in the right way of fasting. So I think I've tried it all.
And if you can look back at those diets, was there any, how long could you sustain for how long could you sustain your weight loss?
It was always coming back quickly because it was deprivation diets. I would eliminate things. And for me, the biggest part of it was I always felt hungry. I was never satisfied and I was never full with those diets. And when I tried different things, it was just, I always had cravings on my mind. I could not let go. And also, in the same time, I was thinking about food completely different. Being on this program was not just about the food, it's more about my mindset and how I look at the food right now. It's not so much of what food I put in my mouth that's available, but what I wish to put in my mouth.
So, could you share your experience? So, you came to the challenge for 5 weeks. What made you stay on this program with us? What made you enroll for and continue to work with us?
First of all, the support group. When I was beginning and I was researching about plant-based, it looked great to me. And I knew that this is something that I want to do, but information was just overwhelming. It was just too much. I didn't know where to go. And here I found a group of people who were like-minded, who knew exactly what I was going through. But most importantly, they had answers to so many of my questions. I didn't need to read all the books and research every information. Anytime a question popped out into my head, I would ask and I would receive answers almost instantaneously. So, and another thing, I felt great. I actually, for the first time, felt good. I had energy. I got rid of my migraines. I've had migraines as long as I remember my adulthood. And it was really bad and painful migraines. And within the first week, my migraines went away. And now I have to say that since September, I have not had an episode of migraine. Just for that, I am forever grateful to the program.
Thank you. So, what else in the program is you find valuable? Because, like you
So
said, it's not only about food, even though the food is the very important component. But what keeps you in this lifestyle?
so it's another big aspect for me about this lifestyle is also keeping moving. So when I first joined, I didn't exercise. Exercise was not part of my life. And I remember you, Jewel, was telling me, do a little bit, do something. You can do it. You can do some sit-ups, you can do some squats, you can do some walking around the block. And I started moving. And within the first months, I joined the gym. I started going to the gym. I couldn't believe it at first because there were people around me encouraging me all the time and keeping me accountable. I set a program and I started working out. So not only was I losing weight, but I was getting stronger and I was building my endurance. One of the things that motivate me to join the program and go through this life change was to be able to keep up with my kids. I couldn't run on the playground. I couldn't chase my 2-year-old. And
We lost.
now,
Okay, you're back.
and I'm back, sorry. And now I'm actually able to do it. So it's motivation and accountability, not only with food, but with exercise as well. And also, the biggest thing, I always put myself last. And I put my family, my friends, and my surrounding first all the time. But for the first time in my life, I looked at it differently. I prepared my food first. I took care of my exercise first. I made sure and I scheduled a block of time every day to do something for me, to do something nice for myself, to read a book, to watch a movie, to do some beauty routine. And I started feeling great. I was feeling blue before, but finally I started coming out of my shelf and actually enjoying life.
Awesome. Also, through this program and through this lifestyle, I find the challenges arise. So if you would talk to someone who is considering to make this shift, to make this switch to whole food plant-based lifestyle, um, what if you can share some of the challenges you experienced and maybe still experience some, and how do you deal with them?
So when I first looked at the program, I said, there is no way I can do it because I simply don't know how to cook. I remember saying, I have never prepared rice in my life. I was a foodie. I ate out all the time in restaurants, ordering food, getting stuff pre-made and sent home. So I said, I don't know how to cook. This looks overwhelming. All these vegetables, I don't know half of them. And then I made a plan. So I made a decision to not move the mountain as a whole, but take it piece by piece. So my first step was to make 2 new recipes every week, and I stuck to the plan. So within the first 5 weeks of challenges, I had 10 new recipes under my belt, and food started tasting great. And I gained some skills, and I learned how to prepare it. And now I'm enjoying it. And I don't need to go out to a fancy restaurant to have a delicious meal. I can make something myself that's just as good and delicious and actually healthy and good for you. So
Uh,
that was one of the challenges.
well, from this surface, you said that you are surface free, so you don't eat salt, oil, flour, alcohol, and sugar. What was the most challenging for you to quit?
Um, I think challenging in the way of just learning how to eat without it was salt and oil, because we had so much of it in our food, and learning how to choose the products that don't have those ingredients. So those were the things that probably were the hardest for taste buds at first. But then I learned that food tastes great without salt, that I don't need to sprinkle salt on my salad, that vegetables taste delicious. And I discovered that celery is actually salty. When you clean your palate, things play this beautiful music, like rainbow of colors in your mouth, taste delicious.
Thank you. When you like, actually, this was a question I received from one of our viewers. What do you eat in the day? Like you mentioned before that on the diets that you tried previously, you always felt hungry. Do you feel hungry now?
No, not at all. I enjoy my food and I eat as much as I want to stop feeling hungry. So usually in my day, if I'm busy in the mornings and if I work out in the morning, I start my day with a smoothie, and it's always a green smoothie. It has a bunch of spinach and kale and celery. You know, sometimes I throw in some fruit, maybe half a banana, or whatever is in season. Then I have a big salad about 2 hours after that, because usually by then I get hungry. And then I have one more meal of some starches. And then in the evening, I enjoy another dinner with the family. So I have another salad, some grains, some starches. It varies day by day. So I always feel full. And then I don't eat late at night because it's just not good for us eating late. So sometimes I can have a little bit of something else, like a celery stick or an apple, but nothing later than 7 p.m.
Awesome, thanks. So you lost 70 pounds. And now, do you find sometimes, are you are you going and scale on a scale? How often do you use a scale, and how? And if you found any link between going to the scale and your mindset, like does that helps you to weight yourself often, or is it helping you to stay away from a scale? And what are your fears sometimes, if you have any fears?
So I do weigh myself every day. A lot of people and experts in the subject say not to, but I find that scale really keeps me accountable in a way that it's been pretty steady. I mean, our current Corona situation been keeping us home, so I've been exercising less. I don't have as much cardio as I wish I would. So my scale is not going up, but it's staying plateauing or staying same. So I find that it keeps me, it's just part of my routine. Every morning I get up and I weigh myself. And actually, every time I see the same number, it's a mini celebration. It keeps me accountable. I feel great. And I'm saying to myself, if I was doing something else, probably that number would have been going up already. But look at this, it's staying the same. I'm doing the right thing. And I just want to continue on. So for me, it's very positive thing.
Awesome.
And
And what
go ahead.
keeps you motivated?
So I have this vision of my life going forward, of this beautiful life and wonderful time that I will have with my kids and with my family. I don't want to be sick or dependent on somebody to take care of me. So it keeps me motivated when I'm running around outside with kids and I'm able to keep up with them. That's what keeps me going. Looking in the mirror, trying on new clothes, that keeps me motivated. I remember when I first joined, one of my goals was to get out of the plus size clothing and be able to shop in just regular stores, to be able to walk in and buy something off the shelf. And that's been great. That's so motivating that when I buy clothes, they fit. So that keeps me going.
May I ask you what size are you right now?
I'm somewhere between 4 to 6. Sizes vary by brands, but mostly I'm in size 4 jeans.
And the size you were before?
16, 18.
From 16, 18 to 4 to 6 in 7 months. Wow. What is your vision for this summer? Uh, is there a bikini season?
I think so. So last summer, I was not able to enjoy the summertime with my kids as much. I did take them to the beach, but I always had a big cover up and I always sat on the umbrella and I was worried for my kids' safety in the water because I was just feeling so self-conscious about walking around in the bathing suit. This summer, I already making plans to try surfing, to go out to the ocean, to do the paddle boarding. I would have never thought that I will be able to do those things. But this summer, I'm actually making plans, and those things are in my near future.
I can't wait to see more pictures of you. I just sent you pictures to all my viewers yesterday, and it's like, wow. Uh, how do you feel about sustainability of this lifestyle? Do you see yourself living this way for a long term, or is it something that is a short term deal?
So right now, I definitely see it my lifetime. So this is my the rest of my life. I want to eat this way. When I first joined, I said, let's try it for just 5 weeks, and I was not putting such def- uh, I was not defining it as such that it will be in infinite. I will be eating this way, and as weeks went on, as months went on, and past 6 months mark, I don't see any other way of eating actually, because now I'm also educating myself. I'm reading books, I'm listening to authors, and I see how much health benefit there is in this way of eating. It's not just the vanity of losing the weight, it's actually being healthy. I had my blood work done, and my doctor was really impressed with the result that I have. That's a big thing.
Well, you look radiant. You just glowing. So thank you for all the share. If you, do you have some binges sometimes? Do you do you call yourself that, that you have some food addictions? And do you find yourself sometimes wanted to binge? And how you manage your mindset during those times?
I definitely consider myself a food addict in its definition. If the food would be in front of me, I would eat it. No matter if I'm full or not, I would just eat everything that's in front of me. So there are a few techniques that I use and that work for me every day. First of all, my environment is not really clean. My family is not plant based, and they do have a lot of different things in the house that really not great for me. But I find that number one is for me to always have plant-based my food and abundance of fruits and vegetables in the house. So when my hand is reaching for a cookie jar, instead of grabbing a cookie, I would go for an apple. But also at that time, I try to question myself and say, why is it that I want to go for an apple or cookie? Am I really hungry? A lot of times I find myself when people are eating around me, I also want to eat. So I try to occupy myself with the conversation or doodling on the paper next to my plate or keep my hands busy. And also, I have to say that before everything in life was just about food. I would award myself with food and I would motivate myself with food. And I found how to do it without the food. Like before every celebration, every birthday, you go for a cake. Now it's not about the food, it's about conversations and having family time and spending good time with the loved ones. In my previous experiences, every time I would lose weight, I would have a cheat day and again binge and do that. But now my mindset is completely different. I don't have to reward myself with something bad for something great that I have achieved.
What I also want to acknowledge you for is for your um, willingness to change, to learn, to shift. And you always, when like my experience of you is when you are in that situation, in that space that you want to binge, how many times you reached out in the group and said, hey, people, I am in the space right now, help me. And the help was always there. And it was just, uh, and it's all because you always know that you always were willing to reach out and ask for support. I think that is also a very important thing, that people don't sit with the problem or the challenges, but reach out for support. So I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you. Yes, that was great. And that's when I learned all the tips and tricks of what to do when those moments come. When you walk up to the fridge to grab something, do 10 jumping jacks. After you completed 10 jumping jacks, most likely you will not reach into that fridge and grab something.
And we have few questions here, people asking how, first question is, may I ask you what size weight you were before you had kids?
Uh, so, I actually don't remember, but before I had kids, I just finished extreme dieting right before I became pregnant with my first. So I was probably around 150, 160 pounds. I would say I kept some of that clothes and they actually are big on me, those sentimental clothes. So, yes, I never been, I don't remember myself as slim as I am now, actually.
And how much you weigh now?
I weigh right below 140, 140, yes.
Okay,
So
awesome.
I
So
started with 210 and I went to 140.
mhm, amazing. Another question is, what else do you often eat on a regular day besides smoothies?
I eat a lot of salads. I love my greens. I make them so colorful, as many colors as I can get. I put strawberries in my salads and blueberries and tomatoes and cucumbers. And I discovered that raw zucchini tastes amazing. Who would have thought? I would have never thought that that vegetable tastes great by itself, raw. So I do that. And cauliflower and broccoli. I also eat legumes. So I would eat beans and grains. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. And another question from Ekaterina is, how did you manage your sugar cravings and what do you use instead of sugar?
So sugar was never something that I craved so much. I guess I was one of the lucky people that I didn't have what they call sweet tooth. I just wanted to eat and everything. So my biggest cravings would have been bread and pastries and croissants and things like that. So I try, instead of going for something like that, I would first make sure that I'm not hungry. So I would have my salad, I would have my grains. So I would make sure that I am full and it's not just craving. So cravings come either when you can be physically hungry, and cravings also come when you are bored or there is some emotional aspect is happening. So I know that now. So I look at my surrounding, my situation, and what's happening to me, and try to address those issues before I try to fix it with something else, with the food.
Great. Thank you. And another question, what is your favorite salad dressing?
I actually like Well Your World dressings. They are my favorite. And the favorite one is the mustard one. It tastes delicious, and I have so many uses for it, actually. I make potato salad, and I also use that dressing as dressing for potato salad, and it's delicious. And people who are not on sulfur-free diet, they are loving it. They eating it.
And I can also put it in the comments, the link to the well your word salad dressings and sauces. Anything else you want to add to this before we finish this great wellness shot?
One thing I want to add, that, this was not a miracle. I didn't wake up one day and lost 70 pounds. But people say, you did all this hard work. I don't want to define it as hard. It was work. And the most support that I receive, that's what got me through every day. I took everything and I made my plan. I divided and conquered every little thing separately. And every day of my journey, there was someone else who was standing beside me and helping me go through it. I knew that I was not alone. When I had some feelings, and I had some questions and I was doubting myself, I would reach out, as you mentioned, to the group. And I received tremendous, tremendous support and motivation that kept me going and continuing on this journey. And now I'm trying to do the same for everyone else around me. I'm trying to motivate people around me. And I'm so grateful to you, Jewel, for having me on today so I can share my story and inspire someone else to join this program, because it's amazing.
Thank you so much. You are an inspiration. You are a star, and the work that you took on and the diligence, how diligently you took this on yourself is just incredible. So thank you so much for sharing this with our viewers, for coming to this wellness shot. And it's honestly, it's such a pleasure to have you in our group. The support you get and the support you give is priceless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.